Have you ever wanted to create your own handicapping dream team? You can now build your own superstar handicapping lineup using our Pick Your Team program at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. Even more exciting, until Sunday, January 16th at midnight, you can save 15% off your Pick Your Team using coupon code PYT15 when checking out. Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, and Ralph Michaels, John Ryan, Joseph D'Amico, and Rocketman. The combinations are endless, and you can choose up to 5 handicappers. You start saving once you choose any 2 handicappers of your choice, and you can pay as little as under $6 per handicapper. Who will make your dream lineup? Just go to Wager Talk or Sports Memo, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand select your handicapping roster. Don't forget, coupon code PYT15 will expire January 16th, so make sure to get your 15% discount.
Welcome, everyone. I am John Ryan, your host, and I am joined by my co-host and NBA expert, Ronald Cabang. This is Wednesday, January 12th edition of the NBA Triple-Double Show that is powered by the Predictive Playbook and presented to all of you by SportsMemo TV. Ronald, we went 3-0 on Monday's show. I can hardly believe it myself. We are 36-14 against the number on this show. You can't make it up. We do these things, we release it, and over the last 16 shows, I can't even say it, 36-14, 72% against the spread, and we aim to just keep it going at this point. Why stop? What do you think of that record, by the way? You've had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, no, it's been an awesome run. I just want to make sure we keep a level head and kind of, make sure we just continue to do the same thing, make the same type of decisions and stuff like that. So, yeah, keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Yep, good stuff. One day at a time, one game at a time. And the first game we're going to be looking at here is the Heat versus the Hawks. And this game is with the Heat on the road. The Atlanta Hawks are 17-22 straight up. The Heat, 25-15. Both teams, Ronald, have failed to cover the spread in 4 of their last 5 games. So I'm wondering where you're taking us in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the Heat here. The Dogs, the Heat. The Hawks. After covering 7 of their first 8 home games of the season, they failed to cover their last 9 at home, including losing the last 8 outright. And their defense has been terrible lately too. In their last 5 games, they're ranked last in the league in defensive rating, and that's obviously not a good thing. But it's even worse when you're playing a Heat team who's clicking offensively right now. They're missing a bunch of key guys, but even then, they're still 5th in the league in offensive rating in their last 5 games. And a couple of trends to back this up. This season, the Heat are 6-1 straight up and against the spread as away dogs with at least a day of rest. And then they're also 6-0 straight up and 5-1 against the spread this season when they have at least 2 days of rest. I think the Heat cover and possibly win this one outright.
Yeah, any concerns with the Atlanta side of the equation with the injuries? We know that Butler is definitely not playing for the Heat. He's been ruled out already for tonight. Mm-hmm. And of course, Bam has been out for a while. He's expected to return late January. You see anything that would concern you on the Hawks side if a player suddenly is out for tonight later today?
The Hawks or the Heat or
the Hawks?
The Hawks. Not that I could think of. The way that they're playing the last few games, I just feel like the guys that we know that are out, right? Right. So if there's anything specific as far as like maybe just Trae Young might be the only guy that we need to be concerned about. Other than that, I feel like it's the same Hawks team at home right now, and we could just continue riding that trend of them failing to cover and win at home. The other thing too is I got hit with this yesterday. I think we gotta stop making bets this early in the day because some guys like Bradley Beal get called out with COVID around 1:00 Pacific Standard. So I think I've learned my lesson. I'm probably going to wait to place my bets until after 1:00 when most of the injury reports are updated.
I can't agree more. And I guess the good news, Ronald, is I think there's less COVID impact in the NBA over the last couple of days. Maybe I'm dead wrong on that, but it just feels like there's less unknown certainty, like last second announcements, and I hope that trend continues. Certainly.
Yeah.
Well, I am neutral on this game, and I'm not sure why. My lean is certainly to the Hawks, but I don't have anything strong to add to it. So let's move on to the next one. And this game is the Cleveland Cavaliers are on the road, set to start at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time against the Utah Jazz, who are third in the Western Conference standings. And I mentioned that, Ronald, because we know who 1 and 2 is Golden State and Phoenix. And they are significantly ahead of the third place Jazz and the entire Western Conference. Over under with the Jazz is 22 and 18 against the spread, pretty much even 19 and 21 with one push. However, the Cleveland Cavaliers still just amazing against the spread. 26, 14 and 1. Doesn't seem like the market has caught up to them yet. They're 23 and 18 on the season. Where do you see the best bet opportunity in this matchup?
I'm actually looking at the total here. The Cavs, they're 7-1 to the under on the road against Western Conference teams when the total is greater than or equal to 215. In those games, they're averaging just 101 points per game and allowing 102 points per game. That's kind of telling me they're struggling to score when they travel west, and plenty of points are expected to be scored. The Jazz, they're primarily an over team at home. They're 14-7 to the over. Overall this season on their home court. But if you dig a little bit deeper into it, they're actually 5-0 to the under at home when facing a team coming from the East, and the total is greater than or equal to 215. So it's kind of the same thing. When I feel like when they're expecting a team to travel from the East, they may be like taking it a little bit easy, right? Or offensively and making sure that the team that's traveling is struggling on the offense, right? The whole travel issue, when that happens, teams are expected to have some type of offensive issues. The Cavs are third in the league this season in defensive rating and playing with the third slowest pace in their last 5 games. So that also kind of trends to the under here. The Jazz, they've been struggling on the defensive side of the ball with Gobert out, but I think this could be like a nice spot for them to get back on track defensively without him. I'm leaning the under here.
Yeah, I can see that for sure, especially with the way Cleveland's playing defense of late. I lean on the Jazz here. They're coming off an upset loss as a double-digit favorite in their previous game, and they have a winning record on the season, and they're playing another winning record team, and they're a home favorite of between 3.5 and 9.5 points. That's 40 wins and 20 losses over the last 25 NBA seasons. That's 67% winning bets. So initially here I'm leaning Utah Jazz, and I do like the under, because I think if the Jazz cover, it's going to go under. And like both of those initially here. In our last game for the Wednesday card, Ronald, that we're going to break down here is the Houston Rockets. They are 11-31 straight up. I don't know the last time they even covered the spread, and it was a long time ago. The Spurs, not all that much better. They played in a dysfunctional fashion in Philadelphia last Friday. It was like watching an LA Fitness pickup game. I kid you not. And it's alarming that Popovich is still the head coach and this is happening. But nevertheless, the Spurs are 22-18 on the season against the number. The Rockets are a money losing 17-24 with one push. Where do you see the opportunity in this matchup?
Yeah, sorry. I'm going with the surprising team here. I'm going with the Rockets. Both of these teams are struggling right now. They're both in the bottom 3 of the league in net rating their last 5 games, with just a 4-point gap between them. The Spurs, they're missing a bunch of key players still, and that's kind of the reason why they've been struggling to put the ball in the basket lately. They're actually dead last in the league in true shooting percentage in their last 5 games. That kind of just goes along with them missing a bunch of guys that have been putting points up for them. And I've actually mentioned true shooting percentage in the show previously, so I'm not really sure if a lot of people know what that is. It's actually a way to measure shooting efficiency that takes into account all field goal attempts plus free throw attempts. So it kind of brings all of those things together and puts a shooting percentage up. And the Rockets, they're pretty healthy. They're fairly healthy. lately, and they could take advantage of a Spurs team that could be looking ahead to a pretty tough schedule that's coming up for them. 5 of their next 6 opponents are legit playoff contenders. I really do think the Rockets can keep this one close to the end and possibly even win this one outright. I think the number opened up at 6, and we're seeing some 5s here, so the market's kind of agreeing with this.
Yeah, I like that breakdown. I have one question for you. In this matchup, we have the Rockets 27th in the league in percentage of points from 2-point range. That's the paint and out to the 3-point line, obviously. So the percentage of 2-point field goal scores by San Antonio is number 1 in the NBA at 59 per game, but Houston is only 27th in that category. Do you think that's a concern, or this is just a game that matches up real well for the Rockets to win?
I really think it has to do with the guys that are missing, right? You're missing Keldon Johnson and a few other key guys there. A lot of the guys that are playing, that kind of like take it to the rim, right? Dejounte Murray is probably like one of the only key guys right now in the lineup that could kind of go off the dribble and take it into the paint area. Jacob Podol and guys like Jacob Londale, those guys are like sort of like a mid-range perimeter type guys. So I'm expecting the Spurs to kind of struggle here just because of the guys that they're missing. I haven't seen too much of the bench players come up to play well in the specific the last few specific games. So to me, I think it's really the matchup here and just the fact that the Spurs are missing a lot of key guys.
Yeah, I'll echo those thoughts too. When the Sixers 20-point win over the Spurs last Friday, Murray was truly the only player that looked like an NBA player that was on the court. And, he sucked it up in that game. Otherwise, it would have been, probably a Sixer win by 35. So kudos to him for, playing through just a miserable stretch here. And the bench players, with all due respect, you're right. They're not able to step up and fill those voids and play at a high level that we're accustomed to seeing the Spurs play under Popovich. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they could do it today because the Rockets are a terrible defensive team, but it's just the fact that the Spurs have been terrible defensive lately too, without those guys on the court. So it's almost like we could probably lean the over here as well. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That brings in my in-game betting. If you start out slow, and it's you get a total that's 10 points less than what the market is right now, that's probably a pretty good opportunity in this matchup for a pizza bet size wager in-game. But now we've come to the difficult part of the show, Ronald, when we have to give out our best bets. And coming off the 3-0 will have no impact on who we pick today. We're not worried about 3-0. That's ancient history. But on the 3 games we broke out here, is there one that does stand out, or even 2?
I think I really like the Rockets here. I think they could pull off an upset, but obviously you take the points just for safety. And then the Cavs and Jazz under, I kind of like that one as well. Just because you're neutral on the Hawks Heat game, I'll probably pass on that one. But Rockets plus the points and the Cavs Jazz under is probably the 2 games that I would call best bets today.
And I will pass also in the Heat Hawks game. Pretty much neutral on that game, but I will take the Utah Jazz minus the points as my best bet for the show. So there's our trio of best bets that we always say hope go 2-1 or better. There's only one thing better, and that's obviously a sweep. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ronald, thank you for your time as always on this show. It's a blast, especially when we're winning the way we are. Thanks to everyone who's watching this show, and take a moment to subscribe and hammer the bell, making sure you never miss these free best bets. And make sure you get over to SportsMemo.com. Get on board our NBA packages. Ronald is the reigning king from last year in the NBA, and he's doing well again this year. I'm starting to heat up on both college and pros, and it's that time of the year for whatever reason. In my 27 years, it starts to get a lot better than it started. So Have yourself a great Wednesday in the sports betting markets, and we'll see you again Friday for another edition of the NBA Triple Double Show. So until then, bet with your head and not over it, and may all the wins be yours.
Have you ever wanted to create your own handicapping dream team? You can now build your own superstar handicapping lineup using our Pick Your Team program at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. Even more exciting, until Sunday, January 16th at midnight, you can save 15% off your Pick Your Team using coupon code PYT15 when checking out. Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, and Ralph Michaels, John Ryan, Joseph D'Amico, and Rocketman. The combinations are endless, and you can choose up to 5 handicappers. You start saving once you choose any 2 handicappers of your choice, and you can pay as little as under $6 per handicapper. Who will make your dream lineup? Just go to Wager Talk or SportsMemo, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand select your handicapping roster. Don't forget, coupon code PYT15 will expire January 16th, so make sure to get your 15% discount.